That's the essence of it.
Oh.
Martha, you haven't heard a word we've said.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, well, at least this house gives me the inspiration I need for my new article.
Hmm?
The Doomed and the Restless Dead.
Oh, really?
I wonder if the realtor guaranteed ghosts with this place.
Could be. There's supposed to be a cemetery somewhere on the property.
A cemetery?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, listen, I think you'll really like the school here, Martha. When you go on Monday, you'll see a Mr. Oh, what's his name? Oh, well, anyway, you could kind of stick with Connor. He already knows his way around.
I'll be okay by myself.
Now, look, Martha, Sally's gone to a lot of trouble, you know.
You better stick close to me, Martha. You look about 12. If I'm not there to vouch for you, they might send you over to the elementary school.
It was true. Martha, with her wide gray eyes and bouncy blonde hair, had always looked young for her age. Wholesome, that's what her mom had always called her. Martha had a face that couldn't hide her true feelings, no matter how hard she tried.
Thanks, Sally. Good dinner. May I be excused?
But you hardly ate a thing.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure, Martha. Go and have a look around. Watch those steps now. Some of them aren't too secure.
Even with so many lights on, the house was still dark. Silent walls rose around Martha. High ceilings and hidden corners swarmed with shadows. She hated it. She'd never liked scary things, never understood her father's macabre sense of humor and his fascination with the unknown. And she hated herself. It was horrible being 16 and such a baby. Martha's gaze settled on the heavy draperies at the far end of the hall.
Wait a minute. Am I going crazy, or did those velvet curtains move just now? Just a little rise and fall. Like someone might be hiding there, behind the folds of velvet.
Martha?
Connor!
Sorry, I thought you heard me.
Where'd you come from?
Just from the kitchen? Where'd you think? Do you want to see the rest of the house?
Okay, I'll follow you.
As they wound their way through the house, it seemed to grow more and more overwhelming and frightening. So many rooms, so many nooks and niches and closets. It was all confusing. Martha couldn't believe how much her safe, happy world had changed since the death of her mother. And now, Dad and Sally were so wrapped up in each other and this stupid house, they'd never care how unhappy she was.
Oh, hi, you two. You made it back. Do you like it, Martha?
I'll never find my way around this place.
You have to admit, it has character.
Sure, it's terrific. Sally, I think I'll head up to bed.
Oh.
I'm really tired. Good night.
Okay, good night.
Good night, Martha.
Forcing a smile, Martha left the kitchen and dragged herself upstairs to her room. The cold was still there, seeping from the corners like an invisible fog.
This room must be on the windy side of the house. That's why the temperature's so much lower here. Once I get a good night's sleep, it'll be okay. I just wish I hadn't acted like such an idiot in front of Connor.
She shut the door to her room and got into her nightgown, all the while her eyes glancing uneasily at the window, the corners, the closet.
Funny. That closet door was open when I first came up here. I know it. Did Connor close it when he was showing me around? No, I'm sure not. Where is everyone anyway? I can't hear a sound. It's like I'm completely cut off from the rest of the house. Oh, come on, Martha. Get up and check the closet yourself. Okay. Empty. Oh, I don't know what's the matter with me. But I'm going to leave this light on. Just tonight. Even if they do laugh at me.
Exhaustion settled over Martha like a huge weight. She fell almost at once into a deep and dreamless sleep.
Dad? Sally? What asleep anyway.
Stumbling out into the dark hall, she groped her way towards the ringing.
Hello?
Look outside. Trick or treat.
What? Hello? Who is this? It's just a crank call. What's the matter with me? I've had crank calls before.
Martha tried to put the call from her mind, but as she walked back into her room, the window was there waiting for her. A black, gaping hole against the night, frenzied trees clawing at the glass. As if in a bad dream, Martha crossed to the window seat and forced herself to look out. Hanging there, so close she could have touched it, was a body. Martha knew he was dead from the way he was swinging, a slow, crazy dance in the cold, cold wind. There was a carving knife through his head, and as the moonlight fell across his slashed face, he grinned up at her.
Martha? Martha! What's the matter? What is it?
Look.
Oh, that. It's just the scarecrow, you know? The one from the porch. Someone sure went to a lot of trouble for a joke.
Where's Dad?
They couldn't sleep. Sally told me they were going out for a drive. What happened?
Didn't you hear the phone ringing?
No, I was...
It was horrible. The phone call. What they said.
Who?
I don't know. A man. The voice was deep, a kind of throaty. He told me to look outside, and then he said, trick or treat.
Trick or treat?
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking what a fool that joker is. It's not even Halloween yet.
You're making fun of me.
I'm not. Now, why would I do that? Look, I'll get rid of that scarecrow in the morning. If the phone rings again, let me answer it. It's probably just some kids being cute.
It just figures.
What does?
That something like this would happen in this stupid house. Why did your mother pick it to begin with?
Partly because she was trying to please your father.
He was pleased in Chicago.
You're having a real problem with their happiness, aren't you?
Don't you tell me what I feel. Get out! Get out of my room!
Sure. Out of the room where something terrible happened. You!
Get out!
Hey, that's no way to treat your shoes.
Just get out!
Good night, sis.
For a long time, Martha huddled in her room trying to forget the phone call and trying to keep her eyes away from the window.
I guess Connor's right. Halloween's coming up, so kids play jokes. Especially on the new people in town. Yeah.
She slid back beneath the covers and shut her eyes, but the feeling of dread stayed with her, at the edge of her senses, wrapped up in the cold. It seemed she'd scarcely dozed off before Martha woke again, this time to gray daylight and the faraway rumble of thunder.
Just great. A day to match the house. Dark and dismal. Wait a minute. It's gone. The scarecrow's gone.
Martha pulled on jeans and a sweatshirt and followed the smell of burnt bacon down to the kitchen.
Ah, morning, Martha. Isn't it a glorious day? Looks really dramatic. Did you sleep well?
Okay. Where's Connor?
Oh, out back. He's filling the wood box. Would you tell him that breakfast's ready?
Sure.
A damp wind blew across the back porch. Trees crowded close on all sides, and the tiny yard was choked with weeds and dead leaves. Martha stood there shivering, thinking again how lonely and isolated the place was. Then, Connor stepped out from the woods, his arms stacked with logs.
It's nice back in there. You can hear the forest just living around you.
Connor, you didn't tell them about last night.
No? Why? Did you want me to?
No. Dad would probably have laughed. He thinks I just imagine things.
Yeah, I got that feeling.
But I don't. Imagine things, I mean.
I know.
The moving van arrived at 3 o'clock, and for the rest of the afternoon, Martha was too busy carrying and unpacking boxes to worry about anything else. The house began to take on some semblance of normality, but Martha couldn't make her own room look any more appealing, even with all her old familiar things around.
Well, what's the verdict, Martha? Think you'll stay a while?
Do I have a choice?
Connor, would you mind going out for some picture hooks? We're having a crisis in here. Perhaps you could take Martha with you. Show her the town.
No, you want to?
Okay, I guess it's better than staying here.
Well, don't be too enthusiastic.
On the way to town, Martha could now see the route they'd taken the night before. The dirt road, the dense woods, and the endless sweep of spent fields beneath a leaden sky. She wondered how Sally had found this place at all.
What are people like around here? Friendly?
I don't know. Nobody's talked to me.
Have you been to town a lot?
Twice maybe. But don't get your hopes up. It's not Chicago.
They drove into town past neat frame houses, well-tended yards, and quiet sidewalks. From nearly every house, jack-o'-lanterns grinned back at them.
Ah, there it is. Our friendly local hardware store. Looks like something out of the past, doesn't it?
There was one man in the store, standing at the cash register, and a girl on a ladder at the back. While Connor hunted along the dusty counters for picture hooks, Martha spied an old mirror propped up on a shelf, and she leaned in towards its dingy glass. Above her shoulder, she saw a smeared reflection of another face, and she froze. She hadn't heard anybody walk up, but the boy was right behind her, his body rigid, his dark eyes wide, an expression of shock on his handsome face.
Sorry, from the back. I thought you were someone else. Have you found what you need?
Well,
I guess I sort of shocked you,
No,
staring like that.
I...
Picture hooks, Martha, remember?
Hooks? Sure. Hey, Win, find some picture hooks, will you?
No problem.
I'll go check them out.
I haven't seen you around, have I?
No, you couldn't have. I mean, I just got here.
You just moved here?
Yesterday, sort of.
Sort of. I'm Blake Chambers.
Martha Stevenson. Nice to meet you. You're the first person I've met here.
Great. Then I'll be the official welcome committee. So, whereabouts in town do you live?
Well, we're not really in town. It's a big old house sort of out in the country. I don't really know my way around yet, but it's sort of...
Not the old Bedford place.
I don't know. I didn't know it had a name.
Sure. Everyone knows it. I'd say you had your work cut out for you. Is that your boyfriend?
Connor? No, he's...
I know, you're just good friends.
No! I mean, our parents just got married. To each other, if you see what I mean.
Wow. New family, new town. That's tough.
It's okay, I guess. Do you work here?
Not if I can help it. My uncle owns the place. Win works here. She's my cousin. I'm just helping out. Look, I've got to go. I'm late already. Nice meeting you. I'll probably see you at school.
I hope so.
He's not your type.
Mind your own business, Connor.
Martha shouldered past Connor to the car. They drove home in silence. After dinner that night, Martha excused herself as soon as she could and went outside. Shivering in the damp night air, she walked slowly around to the backyard, remembering how Blake had frozen there in the store when she'd mentioned the house, how he'd mistaken her for someone else. Suddenly, she stopped and looked off through the mist towards the woods.
There's something moving back there. I can't see it, but it's there, watching. I know it. Sally said there's supposed to be an old cemetery somewhere on the property. Could it be out there in the woods? What's that? The wind? No, it's too sad. Who's there? Is someone there? Oh, God, who are you?
Martha stood there, terrified. Around her, the trees shuddered as something shifted deep within their shadows and slipped away. Finally, Martha was able to move. She ran back into the house as the mist curled after her.